Hello and welcome to episode 39 of Your Exceptional Life, the weekly podcast dedicated to helping you master each and every area of your life. That's right, if you know my Exceptional Life Blueprint work, there are 8 areas to your exceptional life. Mastering your life purpose, that's doing what you love and loving what you do, moving exceptionally, making movement a part of your lifestyle, having a great social life, eating a wonderful diet, but not being overly fanatical, having exceptional love and relationships, wonderful growth, be a student of life, spending less than you earn in your wealth, and having an exceptional spirit, soul, or faith. Welcome to the podcast. Hope you've had a wonderful week. I must thank every single one of you who have responded with feedback as to how you are finding these podcasts, particularly some of the lessons that you've learned. I'm going to put pretty much a podcast together just of stories that I've received from people that have been listening, watching, consuming the podcast in any number of ways. If you're listening or watching this, I'd like to remind you that if you're listening to this on your podcast app on, say, your iPhone, you can look at any of the show notes with the clickable links just by tapping the logo. So if this was your phone, tap the logo and then the show notes come up, and everything that I link to can come up there too, and you can just click a link and it will come up in your browser. So if you're listening, know that you can do that. If you're watching this on YouTube or on Facebook or anywhere else, know that all of the show notes are over at marcuspearce.com.au. That's pearce.com.au, or again, you can access them on any of your podcast app. Now, this episode proudly brought to you by the Exceptional Career Breakthrough Program. If you are stuck in your career or you're just looking for the clarity to find out exactly what it is that you love to do, there is a free introductory video which I shared recently on an episode of Your Exceptional Life, but you can watch that and do the worksheet. It's about a 30-minute exercise altogether. Will give you great clarity, completely free. That's over at marcuspearce.com.au/stuck. marcuspearce.com.au/stuck. Again, is a free 30-minute training for you there. And then if you do want to dive deeper, you can go into the actual Exceptional Career Breakthrough Program. That is just $97. There's over 4 hours of coursework there to really help you create an exceptional life purpose. Now, on top of that, I may as well mention right here at the top, if this is new to you, this whole concept of these 8 areas of an exceptional life, one of the biggest free programs I've ever done, I think it's in over 60 countries worldwide, is called Mediocre to Magnificent. And that is a 3-video program. It's about an hour 20 in length maybe, with worksheets helping you to get clarity on each of the 8 areas of your life. That is over at marcuspearce.com.au/magnificent. marcuspearce.com.au/magnificent. So let's get stuck in to this week's podcast. I have been doing a lot of push-ups lately, as you know. I'm doing my 100 push-up challenge. I'm up to 62, which is pretty awesome for me. I'm loving it. Getting my head around the amount of push-ups that I'm doing. But I was listening to my favorite pump-up music, and everyone has different pump-up music, and one of my favorite songs, it's a very little-known song, and I'm going to share with you the link here into what this podcast is all about. But one of my favorite songs, which really makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand up, is from the Sydney Olympics by Vanessa Amorosi, the Van Am herself, and it's a song called Heroes Live Forever. Now, I won't play it, probably because of copyright reasons, but there is the video. And you can, if you're watching this, you can look at the video whilst I'm talking to you. But so I'm doing my push-ups, and again, without boring or repeating the details of my 100 push-up challenge, there's a link in the show notes. But again, I'm up to 62 push-ups, and so every second day, I have to do 10 sets of 62 push-ups. And so it's a lot of push-ups. And I need some pump-up music to get me going. And one of the songs, Heroes Live Forever, really gets me, particularly in these 3 lines. And it's kind of, a lot of people would see this song as a sports song because it was at the Olympics and the opening ceremony back in the year 2000 for Sydney. But here are 3 lines that really get me. And yes, it's Van Am's voice and her pitch and tone that make these lines special as well. But here's the lines. And all the world will share the joy you bring, and all the power, the hope and inspiration, and all that glory the nations all will see. Da, 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 da. Anyway, I'm going to get into it, so I won't bore you with any more of my incredible singing voice. But the lines in all, I better read it again. And all the world will share the joy you bring, and all the power, the hope and inspiration, in all that glory that nations all will see. And then she goes on. Heroes live forever, And as I tend to do, I get thinking about, well, what is a hero and why does a hero live forever? And I start thinking all my deep and meaningful thoughts and philosophies around, heroes and living forever and all the rest of it. And then I realized more than anything that we are all born, and again, I use this example a lot. Every time a baby is born, they are viewed as a hero. They're this incredible creation. You were and still are this incredible creation from this higher source, which everyone has a different word for, but regardless of the words we use for it, you were and are a hero in the life of many, particularly when you are born. But over time, we lose that hero label. We don't see ourselves as a hero. We're just someone else. We're just like everyone else. But again, I maintain every single one of us is a hero. Now, in sport, we put winners up on a pedestal and no one remembers who comes second and third. And there's a very brutal line that no one remembers a silver medalist in sport. And sadly, a lot of the time it's true, unless that silver medalist was a truly a gold medalist because of drug cheats and the rest of it. But I'm not going to get into all my sports stuff. Heroes live forever, and you are a hero. Wrap your head around that belief. I'm tipping there's a bit of resistance to that. If I said you are a hero, agree or disagree, most people are going to go, I'm a little bit uncomfortable with that word, with that label. And I want to remind you, or really strip back, that a hero is not just a sports legend or someone that's done this incredible feat that you can see on social media and makes you insta famous, as my good mate Damo likes to say. You are a hero just for being born, okay? To actually win that race it's a bigger race than any Olympic event. It's a bigger race than any ultra marathon. It's a bigger race than any Ironman triathlon. Winning the race to be born is an incredible achievement in itself. So I want you to wrap your head around that. Already you are a hero. But then I ask you now, if you can accept that you are a hero, I ask you, are you a hero that will live forever? Because in sport, people that win gold medals that are heroes, in the sports term, we remember them forever. If you're in any proximity to my generation, you'll remember Kieran Perkins. You would hopefully remember Dawn Fraser, that is if you're in Australia. Any sporting hero that you've had some association with in your lifetime, just by watching them on TV or observing them, you're going to remember them for the rest of your life. And so I want you to consider, using that analogy that heroes live forever in the sports field, what are you doing in your life to be remembered forever? And there are 3 fields which really have an impact on the legacy that you live. There are 3 ways, in many ways, to leave a legacy. So the title of this podcast, Heroes Live Forever. So how do you be a hero? Here are 3 ways. First way, I'm just going to have to get to the end of this video. It goes for a little while. First one is your family legacy. The Heroes Live Forever legacy number 1. How will your family remember you? So what impact have you already had on your family? And that is more important than any impact you will have in the workplace or any impact that you will have in your community. Your family legacy is the most proximal legacy. It's the closest legacy that you will have. It is the one that where you can wield the most influence, and I'll get into this in detail. But I want you to be really clear on right now in your family dynamic, and there are 5 key areas to your family dynamic. There's your parents, there's your grandparents, there's your siblings, there's your partner or a spouse, whatever dynamic you're in, and your children. Okay, so they're the 5 key ones. But the challenge with your family legacy is that it's really the attention to detail that you go into that dictates how strong that legacy is. So here's what I talk about here's what I mean when I talk about the detail. Are you going into this level of detail in creating your legacy? It's not just about the houses that you leave or the assets that you leave or the money that you leave. It's actually more about the values that you leave in your family. So how are your levels of acceptance in your family? Do you accept your siblings if you're in a multi-sibling environment? There's always opposites, okay? If you're the risk taker, you will have a conservative sibling. If you are the spender, you will have a thrifty sibling. It's just the way it is. How is your ability to forgive in your family? Do you find it easy to forgive? Do you find it hard to forgive? That carries on in your legacy, but that forms a big part of your legacy, particularly in the quality of your relationships. If you no longer talk to your siblings, well, it's very unlikely that your children are going to have relationships with their aunties and uncles and with their cousins because of your relationship with your sibling. Now, not all the time this can be rectified in that you may forgive, but they may not forgive, if that makes sense. So I'm not saying that you're going to create this utopia within your family, but all of these values, like the value of forgiveness, is something that your children will observe, and that's the key point here. What is your ability to not be right, or to acknowledge when you've made a mistake? Do you always have to have the last say? Do you always have to be right and be justified? If you do, you're passing that on to your children. And again, I'm not I'm just going to say that's a very ego-based way to live if you feel the need to often be right. You probably are searching for love and acceptance, and being right is not necessarily the way to go about it. The health choices that you make are going to impact your children. The career choices, so if you tolerate a mediocrity in your job, if you tolerate a job that pays the bills, well, not saying that's right or wrong, but that is the legacy that you're leaving for your children. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad legacy, because your children may observe you working so hard, and then they get old enough to go, you know what, I don't want what my parents had. So I'm not saying it's right or wrong, okay? You live the life purpose that you live. All I'm asking is, are you doing it consciously? Because I look at my dad. My dad left a wonderful, he's still alive, has left a wonderful imprint on me for work ethic. Like, I have a great work ethic. I am so into what I do, but I don't want the lifestyle that my dad lived. I don't want, he worked at a news agency, worked at the Herald and Weekly Times for many years. The amount of hours he put in is just not the way I want to live my life. But his work ethic, which is more of a value, is something that I treasure. What about your standards for communication, the way you eat at the dining table? Do you use people's names when you speak to them? How do you treat strangers? Whether you look people in the eye or not when you're talking to them? How good a listener are you? And so on. All of them seem idiosyncratic, yet they are all conscious choices that you make, and people are watching, people are listening, whether they're your friends, your family, your colleagues, they're all observing that behavior, and they may not tell you consciously, and they may not be consciously doing it, but they all have an impact on other people's lives. And again, I use the example here, and it's not the greatest, it's not the best news story going around, but Steve Jobs had an incredible professional legacy, which we'll get to shortly. But in the same conversation with Steve Jobs is the legacy that's probably not so great in his family, and his sharp personality in the way that he communicated. He was not very forgiving. He was not a great listener. He was not really an empath. He was not really. He wasn't an empath. There was no sense of compassion in many ways. It was very difficult to have strong communication with Steve Jobs. Now, I'm not writing it or wronging it. I'm actually saying, what conscious legacy do you want to create? It's probably the better conversation around Steve Jobs is how consciously created was it? Now, the last point on this with your family legacy is that there is no hack to a great family legacy. There are no shortcuts. The hack to any great family legacy is quality time. Spending quality time, getting to know your family, and then getting to know how they like to be communicated to, and then massaging your communication skills to get on well with different people in your family. Some people are quiet, some people are loud, some people are politically correct, some people aren't, some people are rude, some people aren't, some people, prefer long conversations, some people are economical with their words. Being able to massage your own skills in that area. I mean, again, I still maintain, I say it all the time, family is the greatest personal growth course you will ever do, so invest in it. Do it well. All right, Heroes Live Forever, legacy number 2. This is an image, low res by the look of it, of Damo and I, and Thea Pericos in Icaria. We're returning back there in 2018 for our longevity experience. If you know nothing about this trip, head on over to 100notout.com. That's 100notout.com. Check out all the fun we had there last year and all the fun we'll be having again in 2018. But how will your friends remember you? Now, here's the big one. It's your friends, your neighborhood. This is your local community legacy. Are you making an effort to maintain and strengthen your friendships? Your social life is like a muscle. Are you maintaining that strength, and are you growing that strength? Are you growing that muscle? If you've got the mantra, I don't have time to see my friends, you and I both know that is complete BS. What you're really saying is that you've got other priorities in your life and you value them as higher priorities, and they are higher than seeing your friends, and so you are honouring those higher priorities than your friends. What I'm suggesting to you is that from time to time you heighten the priority of your friendships and your community relationships, because if you get to the end of your life and your nest is empty, or you've retired from your work and you're sitting at home and you're spending more time with your partner and you've let go of your social relationships, you know what? One, you will drive each other batty. Two, your partner will be going, I wish you had friends to go and catch up with because you're so lonely and it's just sad looking at you right now. And you will know people, either your parents or your parents' friends, or maybe aunties and uncles, or maybe grandparents, that worked so hard or gave so much to their kids at the expense of their social life, and they get to a period in their life and they are dead lonely. Loneliness is a form of death. Dead lonely. You don't want to get to the end of your life, as Bronnie Ware outlined in her wonderful book, The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying, and have this irreconcilable regret, which is, I wish I had kept in touch with my friends. If you had school friends that are no longer friends, reunite the relationship. Yes, it may be awkward. Yes, it may be hard, but you know what? Socializing requires initiative. Socializing requires leadership. Socializing requires going out of your way and putting the time aside to make it happen. If the only people that came to your funeral were your family, is that okay? If it's okay, go for it. Don't worry about the friendship thing or the community thing. But just personally, at my funeral, celebration of life, whatever you want to call it, I want my family there. I definitely want my friends there, because they're not as morose as family are going to be during a death. You know, they're just, I just think friends remember you differently. They probably remember the better times. I just think they're going to deal with it differently. So your funeral, your wake, whatever it is around your death, it's just going to be more fun, more rounded, more holistic. You want your community there, and you want your colleagues or people from your professional relationships there too. So anyway, you know my funeral wishes now. I want a holistic, all of life celebration. I want everyone there. But just remember, to leave a great legacy in your friendship and your community, you must be the leader. You must grow the muscle. You must exercise your social muscle by creating barbecues. We've just had Darby's 5th birthday. That photo you just saw of family, that was just at the end of Darby's 5th birthday last Sunday. Went down to Brunswick River, but out here in the backyard where we've cleared we got rid of the trampoline, we've cleared out the garden, and we had the Darby's 5th birthday in the backyard, and people said this has been the best party ever, and it was so social. We had no activities. We just had the kids doing their thing and everyone else socializing, getting to know each other, and that community of friendship. There could be friendships there that generate into lifelong friendships that then when I go, I'd like them to be there. You want a holistic legacy, and you don't just want a family legacy, you want to have a community legacy as well. All right, that's 2 legacies done. If you're going to be a hero that lives forever, are you going to have what impact are you going to have professionally? So that might be with your colleagues, your clients, the global village, which is very much the Steve Jobs legacy, or the Einstein legacy, or the Gandhi legacy, or the Mother Teresa legacy, the Nelson Mandela legacy. You know, we all have a different a purpose and path that we're going down in life. You don't have to have a global legacy. Please don't buy into this social media driven belief that you have to be an entrepreneur and make $1 million and all the rest of it, okay? This is where Steve Jobs excelled, okay? Let's have no doubt. Steve Jobs excelled in his professional legacy. What he has done for humanity is just, it's remarkable, okay? But here's what's important in here. You must consciously write the script for your life. What do you want to create in your professional life? Where does your passion lie? If your passion lies in serving others in an employee manner, then wonderful. I think it's great when I work with clients to go, you know what, I've done a health coaching course and I've done a nutrition course, but you know what, I don't want my own business. I don't want to do that. I actually, you know what I've realized? I want to go and work in a doctor's office or with a chiropractor or a naturopath, or I want to work with a team. I don't want this home laptop lifestyle sitting in my home office. I actually want to work with others, and I don't want the pressure of running my own business. I actually really enjoy the certainty of a paycheck, and I don't feel the need to go out and run my own business. That's wonderful. Having that clarity is so much better than dilly-dallying between the grayness of figuring it out. If you never figure it out because you never have the courage to clearly define what you want and write the script for what you want, and you know what? You're genuinely going to feel mediocre for your entire professional life because you never feel like you're winning. Win at whatever decision you make. Just make the decision. All right, I want you to be able to put this into words. This takes work, it takes effort, it might take you minutes, but it's going to take you hours, weeks, and months. I'm going to share with you how I would explain it to people if they said, Marcus, what's your life dedicated to? Because if you know what your life is dedicated to the point where you can put it into words, it's so much easier to know if you're being congruent with your life, if you're living your life on terms, and if you're living the legacy that you want to live. So here it is. I'll read it because otherwise I could go on for a while, but here it is. To give you an idea, my life is dedicated to helping people, helping humanity rise from mediocre to magnificent in each area of their life. Professionally, I share this message through my work as founder of the Exceptional Life Blueprint and as CEO of the Wellness Couch. I share the message through my podcast, online programs, speaking engagements, high performance leadership in the corporate space, however you name it. That's how I share my message. I live my example through my role as a husband, a father, a son, a brother, a cousin, a neighbor, all of those different personal life examples. And that for me creates a holism where I can go, am I living my life on purpose? Am I helping people rise from mediocre to magnificent? Yes. Am I being congruent in that by doing it myself and sharing that with particularly my children? Obviously with Sarah, just being an exceptional husband and having enough self-respect to live well in each of those 8 areas of life. It's an attractive manner that allows our relationship to thrive. So I'm not sharing that to gloat. Again, if you know me well enough, I'm not here to stand from a pedestal and tell you how good I am. All I'm telling you is that it's important to be able to share with others and yourself what your life is dedicated to in words. If you really don't know, and upwards of 93% of people don't know what their life is dedicated to, and for those that do, I would say 99% of people struggle to put it into words. So it's a wonderful exercise. You'll be in the 1% in my mind if you can put it into words. And it's not just about your identity. It's not just about, you're a mum or you're a boss or you're an Iron Man. That's not what it's about. It's actually, what are you here to contribute to humanity? Okay, so again, my contribution to humanity right now is to help humanity rise from mediocre to magnificent. I used to think it was to entertain people on the wonderful sport, which is Australian rules football, which is what I did in radio and TV and print. But again, it's changed. Okay, so it doesn't mean that it's fixed. It can change, and once your kids have left the house, it will probably change again. But I really want you to consider if you can put your life purpose into words. What do you love? What are you inspired to do? Go to marcuspearce.com.au, see mine in written words, or if you're listening on your iPhone, just tap the logo and see it written down in the show notes, and then do the same with you. Just fill in the blanks. My life is dedicated to, and then put a verb in there: helping, inspiring, serving. You might be a Rose Kennedy by raising my family as a family of world leaders. You might have kids and that's your purpose right now. It could be anything, it doesn't matter. But what is your life dedicated to? That will create your professional legacy, whether you're a full-time parent, whether you're not a part-time parent, but you know what I mean, whether you are balancing, family and work, whatever it is. Just make the effort to write it down. Get a cup of tea, piece of chocolate, write it down, away you go. Whew! All right, I haven't gone through all the other areas of life. I had it all down, but I thought, you know what, I'm going to dedicate this episode to this. But again, Darby's birthday, good social time, good family time, lots of push-ups. I've finished Mastery by Robert Greene. I've summarized that. I've listened to some great podcasts. I'll share them with you on the next episode of Your Exceptional Life. But I really wanted to really drive home the fact that you are a hero. If you want to be a hero that lives forever, really concentrate on those 3 legacies: your family legacy, your friendship and community legacy, and the legacy to your professional community, whether it's a global village or your colleagues or the workplace that you're in, your clients, wherever it is. Focus on those 3 legacies. Get journaling, get writing, get thinking, get philosophizing. If you want to take this deeper, if you're new to my work, do Mediocre to Magnificent. It's a free 3-part video series. That's over at marcuspearce.com.au/magnificent. And then if you really want to get into an exceptional career, do the free training, marcuspearce.com.au/stuck. And then if you want to dive deeper, go and do the Exceptional Career Breakthrough Program. That's only $97. It's about $20 an hour. So go have a look at that. Until next time, continue to live your exceptional life. Hop on over to the iTunes store. Give this podcast a 5-star rating if you're enjoying it. Feel free to email me, marcus@marcuspearce.com.au, as many of you have done. I've loved getting your emails. I love getting emails. I'm not one to shy away from it. I love it. I don't always get to read them. My team will often forward them to me if I don't read them personally, but then I get to read them personally because I know how important they are. And if you're on social media, I'm over at Marcus D. Pearce, MARCUS Pearce, PEARCE on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Would love to connect with you. Until next time, continue to live your exceptional life, and bye for now.